This training video provides information that will help the TxDOT inspector determine if luminaire poles have been properly located during the construction of a roadway illumination job. This should also help the inspector relocate poles properly when they cannot be placed as shown on the plans. This video provides the inspector guidance in the following areas only. The two types of ground-mounted poles. Pole locations. Falling area necessary for safety. Guidance when placing the pole, or when conditions prevent placing the pole as shown on the plans. Detailed information on the layout and placement of the luminaire poles can be found in Chapter 6, Section 7 of the latest edition of TxDOT's Highway Illumination Manual. Illumination poles are classified as being non-breakaway and breakaway. Illumination poles typically installed on bridge structures and atop concrete traffic barriers, seen here, are classified as non-breakaway. With the addition of a safety breakaway base, also referred to as a transformer base or a T-base, the pole assembly is referred to as a breakaway pole. This segment shows crash testing of a breakaway type pole. The direction of impact of the vehicle produces a typical trajectory of the pole as it falls. To reduce the likelihood of collateral damage, it is important that the pole be installed so that it falls in an area that is free of vehicle and pedestrian traffic. Research has shown that after a head-on impact, a breakaway pole will fall within an area that has a width of 40% of the pole length and a depth of 1 pole length. We see in this animation that after impact, the vehicle continues to travel along its original path. The impacted pole falls in an area that has a width of 40% of the length of the pole. The falling area depth in the direction of travel of the errant vehicle is 100% of the pole length. Substituting the percentages for a typical 50-foot pole would require a falling area depth of 50 feet and a width of 20 feet. This results in a 50-foot pole requiring a median with a minimum width from lane edge to lane edge of 40 feet. For a 40-foot pole, the actual falling area would be 40 feet by 16 feet. This results in a 40-foot pole requiring a median with a minimum width from lane edge to lane edge of 32 feet. When a pole is installed in a continuous median, where it is subject to being hit from two opposite directions, as seen in this animation, the pole would have two falling areas. This animation shows a pole installed in the gore area near an entrance ramp, frontage road, and main traffic lanes. The pole is most likely to be hit by an errant vehicle from the main lane side. The falling area will be behind the pole, on the frontage road and entrance ramp sides of the pole. The pole should be installed so that it would not likely impact a vehicle when it falls. This means that both location in the gore and the distance from the frontage road be considered when spotting the pole. For the light fixture to provide illumination necessary for safety, the pole needs to be located close to the roadway. When the pole is installed in the clear zone, it should be a breakaway type for added safety. Occasionally, due to overhead utility lines, ditches, and other obstructions, poles cannot be located as originally shown on the plans. When conditions necessitate relocation of the pole, it is necessary to consider how this will impact the lighting on the roadway. If the pole is moved too far away from the roadway to clear an obstruction, the lighting benefits will be reduced. As seen here, it may be necessary to locate the pole on the opposite side of the roadway so it can provide the illumination necessary for safety. As noted on RID 1, Note 2, the location of poles and fixtures may be shifted by the engineer to accommodate local conditions. The inspector should contact the engineer for additional information. The factors that affect the location of non-breakaway poles are the clear zone, distance to other travel lanes. This non-breakaway type pole was installed in the clear zone and has been severely damaged by an errant vehicle. While there are exceptions contained in TxDOT's Highway Illumination Manual, placement of poles in narrow medians should be avoided. It is better to leave an area unlit than to place a pole where it is likely to be struck and fall into traffic. When it is necessary to place a non-breakaway pole within the clear zone, it should be protected by an approved traffic barrier, as shown here. TxDOT Standard Sheet RID 2, Note 6 states, locate breakaway roadway illumination assemblies as shown in the placement table, unless otherwise dimensioned on the plans. Under the Notes section of TxDOT Standard RID 2, the inspector will find a breakaway pole placement table that shows the different types of roadways and the minimum distances a pole should be placed from the lane edge. With the information provided on these standards, the inspector should be able to ensure that poles are properly placed and, when necessary, are relocated properly. The inspector should recall that two primary considerations are falling area and light falling on the roadway. In this training video, we have covered the main inspection criteria for pole placement guidelines only. The inspector is encouraged to view other available TxDOT training videos relating to roadway electrical systems. Each of these training videos adds to your knowledge of electrical systems by covering only one component of the electrical work. This allows you to quickly master the knowledge necessary for a particular job in small parts.